fellow countrymen, the appointed day has come and India stands forth again after long slumber and struggle, awake, vital, free, and independent. The past clings on to us still in some measure, and we have to do much before we redeem the pledges we have so often taken. Yet the turning points is past, history begins anew for us, the history which we shall live and act and others will write about. It is a fateful moment for us in India, for all Asia, and for the world. A new star rises, the star of freedom in the east. A new hope comes into being, a vision long cherished materializes. May the star never set and that hope never be betrayed. We rejoice in that freedom even though clouds surround us and many of our people are sorrow stricken and difficult problems encompass us. But freedom brings responsibilities and burden, and we have to face them in the spirit of a free and disciplined people. On this day, our first thoughts go to the architect of this freedom, the father of our nation, who embodying the old spirit of India held aloft the torch of freedom and lighted up the darkness that surrounded us. We have often been unworthy followers of his and have strayed from his message, but not only we but succeeding generations will remember this message and bear the imprint in their hearts of this great son of India, magnificent in faith and strength and courage and humility. We shall never allow that torch of freedom to be blown out, however high the wind or stormy the tempest. Our next thoughts must be of the unknown volunteers and soldiers of freedom who, without praise or reward, have served India even unto death. We think also of our brothers and sisters who have been cut off from us by political boundaries and who unhappily cannot share at present in the freedom that has come. They are of us and will remain of us whatever may happen, and we shall be sharers in their good and ill fortune alike. The future beckons to us. Whither do we go and what shall be our endeavor? to bring freedom and opportunity to the common man, to the peasants and workers of India, to fight and end poverty and ignorance and disease, to build up a prosperous, democratic and progressive nation, and to create social, economic and political institutions which will ensure justice and fullness of life to every man and woman. We have hard work ahead. There is no resting for anyone of us till we make all the people of India what destiny intended them to be. We are citizens of a great country on the verge of bold advance, and we have to live up to that standard. All of us, to whatever religion we may belong, are equality children of India with equal rights, privileges, and obligations. We cannot encourage communalism or narrow mindedness, for no nation can be great whose people are narrow in thought or in action. To the nations and peoples of the world, we send greetings and pledge ourselves to cooperate them in furthering peace, freedom, and democracy. And to India, our much loved motherland and ascent the eternal and the ever new, we pay our reverent homage, and we bind ourselves afresh to our service. Dear sir, we are in receipt of your kind letter of 1st May. It is indeed a matter to regret to us that our negligence has given you reason to complain. From what you have been to us in the course of our long standing business relations, you must have been convinced that we are ever mindful of the interest of our valued customers. It is our duty, therefore, to clear up the charge of negligence rightly brought against us by you, if you too remove the bolt on the fair name to our firm. Our business manager, who is in sole charge of the order department, has been absent for some time due to illness. During his absence, the work of this department has been entrusted to a new hand. As this is a particularly busy season, it is quite likely that some mistake might have occurred due to oversight, but we assure you that the negligence complained of was not deliberate. It was purely accidental, owing to circumstances over which we had to control. We would now request you to be good enough to send back the unapproved goods, debating the cost of carriage to our account. If you would also kindly give us a list of the glassware which suffered breakage, we would be glad to replace the articles at our cost, hoping to be excused for the inconvenience caused. Yours very truly, over.